let's talk about booms and busts. Now, in the US stock market, we've seen one of the best bull markets ever since the bear market of 2008. But the rebound we've seen is more the exception than the rule. In 2006, the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis published a report on booms and busts. They studied 10 different markets over 100 years. That's about 1,000 years of data. And they found that the average bear market was down about 43%, and bear markets happened about once every 13 years. So let's think about the US market right now. It's been up 6 straight years. I don't think it's ever been up 7 straight, but I'm not going to tell you it can't happen. Let's think about the next 5 years, and I'll be generous and I'll say over the next 4, let's assume that it's up 4 straight years, which would give it an unprecedented up 10 straight years. Let's further assume that over those 4 years, the S&P 500 is up 50%. That takes the S&P 500 from 2,000 to 3,000 and would make this basically the best bull market ever. Now I think I'm being pretty generous in those assumptions. Now I want for the 5th year for you to be merely reasonable and to accept that sometimes bear markets do happen and grant me the average bear market down 43%. If the S&P 500 rises from 2,000 to 3,000 and then in that 5th year falls 43%, we find ourselves basically where we are today. I find it very hard using math and history to come up with plausible scenarios where the US stock market has meaningfully positive returns over the next 5 years. But I don't know what's going to happen. So I certainly do want US equity exposure in my portfolio. But I also want to be diversified. Now, the most common refrain from retirees that I hear is, Randy, I think I'm okay as long as I don't run into another 2008. And then I look at their portfolio and I say, if that's the case, why is your portfolio positioned to do particularly horrible in the next 2008? I think since booms and busts happen, we should be preparing for the next bear market. Our portfolio should be specifically structured to weather the next bear market and to make it through relatively unscathed. In fact, the bear market should be our base case because booms and busts happen.